Hello everyone, I am Crawfy, an Advanced Wars by Web player, Javier main, and this is a replay from the Amarriner Cup. The second edition of the Amarriner Cup just started, but this is from the first edition. From the second round of the first edition, where I faced Vincarius. This was a very even matchup. The winner wasn't decided until the very end. Let's start the replay. Vincarius starts as Von Bolt. I play as my favorite tier 1 CO Javier. And Vincarius immediately goes for the contested property in the middle. And he builds a day 3 recon. Very aggressive, but Von Bolt has stronger day to day, so he can manage that. I won't be able to stop this cap on time, but I will use my own day 3 recon to damage that infantry and drain some funds. Because Vincarius will have to spend 200 in repairs, and maybe he won't be able to buy something from that. However, I will get punished for that move. Let's guess how much Von Bolt recon without a Tom Tower deals to a vanilla recon on a show. Boom, 5 damage. This is very brutal example of how strong Von Bolt can be. And this recon will get healed next turn to 10 HP. It will be a full HP recon. I use my damaged recon to delay that cap. And I produce a tank here, so continuing with that cap is not feasible. So at least Vincarius won't get both of the contested cities in the middle. If he got both, I would be in a very bad spot. My recon dies, but it did its job. And Vincarius builds his own first tank. I go for the contested property here. This is my strong side, this is my weak side. It's quite hard to reinforce here. And I go for early artillery to lock this city and try to recapture it. Vincarius continues with the tank chain. And now this recon can reach this city, so I won't get it. However, I still try, because this tank will be able to reach this recon. Now, Vincarius does not have enough money for 2 tanks and infantry, so he will build an artillery. But this is not a bad decision. This artillery will be able to lock this city and make it easier to capture for Vincarius. I go for that recon, even if it means getting first strike by a tank. I have a plan for that tank. And now I try to recapture the city. This infantry is protected by the artillery. And this is quite a good wall. The tank gets hit. The cap gets interrupted. And Vincarius starts his own cap. And here I continue capping. And I join those 2 tanks together in order to afford a battlecopter. Usually in a low-income map like this one, building a battlecopter means losing some tempo. But by joining those tanks, I can build this tank and maintain the tempo and maintain the unit count, because I joined 2 units, but I produced more 1 unit than usual. I interrupt this cap. I really don't want Vincarius to get both those cities. And surprisingly, Vincarius decides not to delay that cap further. I will get this contested city. Good for me. However, I don't get this one. And now the income is equal. I don't get that kill, quite unlucky, so I cannot put anything on that silo, and instead I decide to cripple that infantry because that tank is already overloaded and it will probably shoot at this one. I use my copter to protect this infantry, but capping this city is not a wise decision. This is my weak side. I cannot reinforce it easily, so dreaming of getting that city is not wise. I start an artillery standoff here and here. If Vincarius decides just to go with artillery hit, this artillery will prevail. But Vincarius instead decides to attack with a tank, and now I have enough charge for my tower. Tower shield will come in exactly where I need it, exactly when I need it every time. So when my turn comes, I pop tower shield immediately, just to stay in the game. Now the unit value disparity is quite big. So I counterattack. I protect my copter from the anti-air by those infantry units. And again, I don't get the kill. I have to use the infantry to finish off the tank. And now those tanks are safe because those infantry units are very hard to dislodge during my power. This game is quite long, so I will speed up things a little bit. Vincarius tries to cap that city again, and I try to cap his lab because whoever has the highest number of labs wins when the day limit, which is 35, comes. And if the number of labs is equal, the player with the highest number of properties wins. So now I decide to continue with that cap, and I put another infantry on a mountain, hoping that it will be safe. During my power, it had insane defense, but now it doesn't. So my wall here crumbles. Vincarius decides to go for a push, and he kills a bunch of my units. He weakens more, and he goes for my lab. So the lab that I got here wasn't worth it. And I don't get this city either. The situation looks quite bad for me. So I regroup. I decide to stop that cap at all costs. And I put artillery here because even if he gets to it, it's on a silo, so it will live. I protect my units here, and I just hope to survive until I get my power again. Vincarius interrupts this cap, which is wise for him, but by that, he no longer has any healthy infantry on the left flank. So I don't have to worry about him capping my cities because he cannot make a fast cap. The closest healthy infantry is here. So at least I don't have to worry about this side much, but I have a huge problem here. Vincarius went for a big attack. Fortunately, my power is just in time. I kill that infantry to enable 2 hits on that tank to kill it. I kill that infantry and I get a nice kill on that 3 HP tank, which enables me to damage his artillery, and I sacrifice my copters because he has a copter here, anti-air here, so he will be able to kill both of my copters, or at least kill one of them and cripple the other. But I want to get tank superiority. I have right now 2-tank advantage, and I built a magnet here. So if Von Bolt decides to use his power now, it will hit here. I sit on a city to prevent a cap, and one of my copters is dead. The second one is crippled, but because I have my power active, his copter is also damaged. So I will be able to neutralize the air threat. I will lose all my copters, but he will also just have this one copter here, which will be crippled by my anti-air. So I hope to get tank superiority, but Vincarius produces more tanks, and he holds his power, because hitting that magnet wouldn't give him much. So this tank is sitting here, and this copter is no longer a threat. So I used Move Planner to see where the missile would hit. But in the Move Planner, I assumed that this will lower the HP of this copter to 1. And if only this copter had 1 HP, the missile would hit somewhere here. Yes, it would hit this one and this one. It would hit here. But the copter has 2 HP instead of 1. And this simple blunder made me lose a lot of units, because this tank was protecting this tank, and now both of them are immobilized. Fortunately, this tank survives. So all I want now is to maintain the unit count, because unit count is very important. The big picture of that match for me is to accumulate units and produce many indirects, because Von Bolt cannot match my indirects because I have stronger indirect defense, and if I have a wall of units with indirects and I push slowly forward, I will win. But if the unit count gets too low, then Von Bolt's stronger day-to-day will push him forward. So I want to make walls to delay the game a bit and to get more indirects. But right now I just have to build tanks to protect this wall made from damaged units. I get shellacked on the left flank, so this situation does not look good for me. Right now I am losing on the left front. I am well, not present on the right front, and I am just holding in the middle. But this city is mine, and those two cities are still neutral. The income is still equal. So I decide to form a wall on the left flank, and on the middle I put my artillery totally without cover, because it's just a 5 HP artillery. If my opponent decides to attack it, he will lose a full HP tank, so it's not worth it for him. He decides to go for this attack, but it's 7-7, so it's an even trade. And now I will use this artillery to delay this cap. Unfortunately, this tank cannot be avenged. This copter got a free hit, but it gave me enough for a power. Am I gonna use it? No, I don't. I just produce more units. I want to produce those indirects, and this is my first rocket. This rocket will play an important role in locking this city forever. However, this lab is quite important for me. I don't need to cap it because those labs are mine. The situation is now 4 labs for me, 2 labs for Vincarius, so I can afford losing this lab. And Vincarius gathered large forces on the right flank, which is my weak side, so I have to put just enough units to prevent further advancement of Vincarius and just survive on the right flank. I don't pop my power, but okay, I pop my power. Those were guaranteed kills, so I didn't have to pop it right away. But now I pop it to make sure that this infantry dies, to make sure that this artillery dies, and now I move forward. This tank is protected by the rockets, and here I just maintain my wall. And Vincarius wisely decides not to cap this lab because it would be punished, but to put a tank here. These rockets are very useful because they also protect the right flank a bit. And now I have some control over the middle. Vincarius had to retreat with his remaining artillery, so the situation is no longer so bad for me. Now, when the unit count is higher for both sides, I have advantage because I can build walls and put some indirects behind them and slowly push forward. Now the game tips in my direction. So I realize that my strategy is working. I built a wall, and this will be a boring part of the match. And nothing happens for now, just some regrouping. But Vincarius decided to save some cash. I didn't notice it, so I just continue with walling, with locking the city, and my defenses are now impenetrable. So Vincarius decides to go for it. He attacks. And he just felt like attacking, as he said to me. And maybe this was a wise decision because if I proliferate even more, my wall would become game ending. However, Vincarius made one mistake. He saved cash for a neo-tank, but he lost some tempo because of it. So this attack wasn't as hard as it could be, and this neo-tank protects just those 3 units. So I pop my tower shield, and now I will show how impregnable this wall is. If that tank fell, I would be in a much worse position, but the tank held on. So now I can one-shot his tank. Look, this rocket one-shots Vincarius' tank. And now I sacrifice infantry to make sure this infantry dies. I kill that tank. I sacrifice a copter to make sure that this copter dies. But it was a roll. I sacrifice yet another infantry to ensure that this infantry dies. I kill some units, and now I get to the juicy umpire in the back. So my counter-attack was way stronger than his attack, and now I get a significant advantage. I also have income advantage, so everything looks great for me. The only problem is that neo-tank. So Vincarius decides to go for immediate superpower, and he damages my magnet here. I used 4 HP tanks because 4 HP tanks attract von Bolt's superpower as good as full HP tanks. Because Ex Machina targets the highest amount of damage it can make. It deals 3 points of damage. So if it attacks a 4 HP tank, it deals 3 points of damage. If it attacks a full HP tank, it also does 3 points of damage. So it doesn't matter if it's a 4 HP tank or a full HP tank. So those 4 HP units can make great magnets against Von Bolt or Rachel. And again, even with popping up his super, Vincarius wasn't able to break my wall. This 1 HP tank is a hero. It stood up. And now I can counterattack. The situation looks great. I got this city. So now I just need to survive until day 35 and I am fine. Or that's what I thought. So Vincarius moves slowly to the left because I damaged all his infantry units except for that one. This one infantry unit sitting here in the back is very problematic for me. We have some brawls in the middle, but they don't matter. My wall is in a good condition. In order to survive that Neotank attack, I joined all my forces in the middle, not counting for some infantry units to prevent caps. And by massing my forces in one big death wall in the middle, I survived his attacks. However, now I just realized that this city will fall. I have nothing to protect this city now. And this Neotank, those 2 tanks and this anti-air will kill whatever infantry I put to stop it. So, oops, I made this city fall. So I also shift to the left. I produce an MD tank to deal with his Neotank. I don't need this fancy black hole stuff. Old goods MD tank is all I need. This is a map with short reinforcement roads. So the higher movement of the Neotank doesn't matter that much. But now Vincarius blocks the entrance. I can no longer delay this cap. This city will fall. Of course, I won't let this city fall in his hands, but with this city flipped, he will have income advantage. And now he will be in a situation where all he needs to do is to wait until day 35 ends. And he builds a bomber to prevent recapping of that city. Now I am in quite a bad spot. This MD tank is also a nice target for this bomber. So I maintain my wall and I think, what can I do? What can I do? I try to cut this city. Maybe I will make some progress here. But this city will get interrupted. I won't get it. And Vincarius wisely shifts some forces to the right, so I cannot get easily this one. This is forever neutral. It's also locked by this artillery. It can be easily interrupted if I decide to cap it. So this is the status quo. There is no easy property for me to gain. I get some free hits, but this is not enough. And my MD tank retreats from that bomber. I produce a rocket to protect this city. And right now I want to slowly push on the left flank. I have some Untitled. I have much more infantry than Vincarius. And I have a higher unit count, higher unit value. So this push may succeed. Vincarius decides to chase my MD tank with his bomber. So the push here is looking promising. So I am getting closer and closer to recap this city, but clock is ticking. This is already day 28. And this one here won't fall, but he will chip some of my infantry units. So those moves are just regrouping, and Vincarius puts a large force on the right flank, so that I have no dreams of capping that. All I need to do on the right flank is just to survive. Don't let go of this lap, and I will be good. And I start the cap on the left flank. All I need to do is to finish this cap. I have lots of infantry here, and I have some indirects, I have some tanks, I have one Amarriner. I hope that this one will succeed. I will get a nice shot on his neo tank, but this bomber here requires some attention. I damage his units. Vincarius just holds on to reach day 35, and I want to push here and survive here. Now, even if Vincarius breaks through this wall, he will lose the bomber, so it won't be worth it for him. And Vincarius produces more and more air units here because I have no anti-air right now. So air units are Vincarius's last hope. I have just this one counter. Of course I built anti-air, but it's one turn too late. It's already day 31, and Vincarius is still the winner, despite lower unit count, despite lower unit value. All that matters in tournament matches is the number of properties and laps in the end. So this tank survives. Good news for me. But Vincarius shifts forces to the left. Now the middle is forgotten. There is nothing to gain here. Both of those cities are locked. So we shift our forces to the left and to the right. Now I make a push forward. I kill some units, I cripple other units, and I start the cap on the left side. There are only 3 days left, and I think that this is my missile magnet. This MD tank and these rockets. If Ex Machina hit here, it would be devastating for me. So I have to sacrifice quite a few units for that super. But Vincarius had a lucky shot. This infantry died when attacking this one. So he can attack me with 2 units at once. And he popped his super after sacrificing that infantry. If he popped his super earlier, this infantry would survive and block this square. So that was wise of him. And now this neo-tank cripples that infantry. My cap is looking bad, but I still have some forces. I can still defend it. And now a surprise. Vincarius decides to attack on the right as well. Why? He won't gain anything, but he will get enough money for a bomber. Let's look at it again. So, Vincarius attacked this tank with infantry to deal some chip damage and ensure that this tank got reduced to 8, not to 7. Now, he can join those two tanks together, join those two infantry units together, join those two infantry units together, and he gets just enough money for a bomber. And he needs to make a triple base hit, but now this bomber is in range of that city. How can I cap it? All his forces are on the left. Well, not all, but most of them. Those forces will be dead, but this is just enough to stop this cap. And this is all Vincarius needs. This city is still locked, so I have some luck in killing this neo-tank. I kill that copter, but I realize I won't get this city regardless. Vincarius can kill this anti-air, and he can put another unit here, delaying that cap. And then, when he kills my anti-air, I don't have anti-air backup. I won't be able to kill his bomber. So his bomber will be able to damage my infantry again and again until day 35 ends. And do I lose? I have no healthy infantry here. So what can I do? I still have some chances of winning. You can pause the video if you want and look for those chances. And now I will show what I mean. I kill a bunch of enemy units here, and I join those two infantry units together. Now I have a healthy infantry. It's already day 33, 2 days left. Vincarius is the winner right now. I, of course, joined up to make Vincarius forces stuck here, delaying that cap. I don't want any nasty surprises, but this infantry is very scary. Of course, I kill everything that might damage it. This bomber, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's a replay viewer bug. This bomber cannot reach my infantry. So my capture is stopped. I won't get this city. Now I just want to get my power. And Vincarius had to engage me in so many places that I will get enough power. And why do I need my power? Let's see. Power shield, day 34. I need to start a cap this turn if I want to change anything, and I start a cap here. I surround it with a very solid wall made of tanks, but this is an artillery here. Let's see how much damage it does when I have my power active. Vincarius tries to sacrifice units to get his superpower, which would be hilarious if he got it, but it's not enough. And this artillery deals exactly 0% damage to that infantry. So, boom, nothing. My cap holds on. And this is why I am a Javier main. During his power, his caps are like canvas. unstoppable. So this was a very intense match. In my next video, I will talk about rockets. I built 2 rockets here. They made a lot of work. And I will show when rockets are good. Until the next time, see you. Bye.